Then you can put full screen. Okay.
No, this thing. Where is the percentage?
It's full screen. You can continue. You want full screen?
It's for then they can't see this. No, just go and see if they can see this on.
Here it's not showing full screen.
Huh?
Full screen.
I didn't understand.
It's not showing full screen.
No, it's showing here, no?
No, for them they can't see this. Then okay.
No, they can't see it. They can't. That's what I told you.
Hare Krishna. So I thank the temple management and ISKCON Bangladesh Youth Forum for giving me an opportunity to present something on this topic, self-discipline for a Krishna conscious life. Om Adhyana Tumiran Jnana Chakshurina Naishi Namo Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vichari Vishesha Vadi Vasya Jaya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Harinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Not changing slide. Not changing slide.
Okay, you just connect. Oh, you're not in PowerPoint now.
Ah, that's what I'm saying. It's not coming there. It's not coming. Nothing happened. Just stop sharing. Double. So they're seeing this.
Yeah, they will see.
Just check.
No, I checked.
So I welcome you all to today's session on self-discipline. It is a very important topic, but the present generation does not like this. Word. This word is not liked by many because, for example, children like to always play, but they do not want to get disciplined and go to school. Similarly, people like to relax at home and not go to work. But we know that self-discipline will help us to lead a regulated life for all-round happiness. So here we are to discuss about self-discipline and its application. So in this slide, we can see through what all contents we are going to go through. So we will learn why we need self-discipline, how self-discipline is important, how to control our mind, and I'm also going to tell you a step-by-step process how we can implement self-discipline in our life. So, in the universal teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches how to alleviate our sufferings through the principle of discipline and regulation. In Bhagavad Gita 6.17, Krishna says, Yuktahara viharasya, yukta chetasya karmasu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. Translation: he who is regulated in his habits of sleeping, of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So this is a very important subject matter for young children, college going students, and in fact for everyone. So let us first see what is the definition of self-discipline. So self-discipline is the way of embracing both control behavior and control way of thinking for the kind of objective that you desire to attain. So what is basically said here is that we adopt self-discipline only when we need to achieve a particular goal or when we have a particular objective. Now, let us see how self-discipline is seen in the world around us. We can see that sun always rises on time, it always sets on time. The planets are revolving around sun in perfect orbits, and the seasons are changing periodically, and the flowers are blossoming in the morning, cows are giving milk every day, and earth is giving rain. So we see there's a high amount of discipline all around us. Today, we are not going to learn about discipline as a word that tells us to do that, to do this, or don't do that, or don't do this. Because this word is because if we learn in that way, it is not like everyone does not like to learn the word like that, like that. But we should know that discipline does not mean only doing something mechanically for the sake of doing. So why self-discipline? So as we already know that we adopt self-discipline only when we need to accomplish an objective or we need a goal. So if the end goal is very clear, we won't mind accepting the discipline. For example, we see that 8th standard, 9th standard students start preparing from then only for IIT JEE. They really work hard. They work day and long, slog for day and night. And when they crack IIT JEE, they feel that their efforts were worth it. Similarly, we see that singers avoid eating cold items to keep their throat favorable for singing, and athletes keep their body slim for being fit and healthy. So we also as students are also kept being awake for so many hours for studying. So we see that we all follow some sort of discipline, knowing that there's an end goal to be achieved. But if there's no end goal, then we will not be working towards it, and self-discipline will be a very painful burden on us. Unless we feel jolly about reaching the goal, without that, discipline will be a very painful burden on us. Therefore, how can we apply this in our spiritual life? We should not just learn about the do's and don'ts in our spiritual life, because what usually the teenagers think that spiritual life is just a set of rules and regulations. But we should know that it is not like that. So we should know what is our end goal, that is to become Krishna conscious in this lifetime. So this is a quote by Jim Rohn which states that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. So we need to keep some goals in our life. Now let us see some reasons why self-discipline is important. They can be broadly classified into three. The first is to create good habits. We know that we need to have some good habits, in the absence of which we can become lazy or misguided, and laziness will get us nowhere. Second, we need to self-discipline keeps us focused, because we know that our world is full of distractions, and hence discipline keeps our eye on the goal. Third, to build self-respect and worth ethic. We know that self-discipline do things well. They are proud of quality results, and when you have that quality, we have the reason to feel increased self-esteem and self-worth. So whenever we do some things in discipline, we always feel this feeling of accomplishment, that we did something better than before. So let us see now the qualities of self-disciplined people. The first one is that they commit to routine, and they do not get away from the routine. They do things in a certain manner every day. For example, as devotees, we chant the same Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for the number of years as a routine for the purification. And disciplined people avoid temptation. They do not succumb to the allurements of external distractions or even the partial benefits that is attained on their path to the end goal. Sometimes when we keep an end goal and we work towards it, we get some result which may be good or bad, and we may stop at it. But we must not do that. We must be self-disciplined and know that that is my end goal, and we should go there rather than stopping at the partial benefits or losses. Similarly, disciplined folks live by deadlines while keeping their eyes on the goal. This is achieved that by ensuring that our educated intelligence is in full control of our mind, emotions, and senses. Because we all know that when we are in control of our mind, then only we can do things properly in a particular discipline. So in Sanskrit, in the Rig Veda, it is said, Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraya. So the Vedas say, for example, the yogis set their sight and keep their sight on the Supreme Personal Godhead, that is Lord Vishnu. So just like the yogis control their mind and focus it on Krishna, similarly, we should also be in full control of our mind and focus on pleasing Krishna. So the word here, Sada Pashyanti, is very significant, which is always focus. Now let us see some self-disciplined people like Srila Prabhupada and John C. Maxwell and Albert Einstein and so on. So Srila Prabhupada used to say, self-discipline is a training by which we no longer identify with the body and mind in which we inhabit. So what Srila Prabhupada is saying that by self-discipline, we will be able to know that we are not this body and the mind. And John C. Maxwell said that motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. Now let us see what are the results we obtain when we implement self-discipline in spiritual as well as material. So self-discipline for material gains has one downside, that is they are temporary. But on the path of self-realization, the result is forever and it does not go even when we die. Therefore, if we want to cultivate self-discipline, we must make sure that aside from material goals, we also have a spiritual goal. We need both of the goals because material goals will get us through life, whereas to attain spiritual purpose of life, you need a spiritual goal of self-realization. And to be self-realized, you need to be disciplined in Bhakti Yoga and mantra meditation. That is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now let me give you an example how self-discipline is sometimes avoided by people. Sometimes you hear preachers go to a millionaire's house and where the parents say their children to come out of the rooms and pay respect to the preacher. So what the children do that they come out of the rooms, they pay the respect, but instead of sitting in the class or hearing the Bhagavad Gita Katha or Bhagavatam Katha, they go back to their rooms and start playing video games or reading books or something. So here we can see that these children are only concerned of their material gains or material goals, that is sense enjoyment. But we should remember that spiritual discipline like chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or attending classes of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is not going to strip us off from varieties of enjoyment, but rather enlighten us and give us spiritual happiness. Now, self-discipline is a must for purification. So for self-discipline, we must first purify our mind. So we need self-discipline to purify our mind from the three great viruses. We can remember them in the mnemonics of lag, that is lust, anger, and greed. Actually, these viruses cause lag in our life. So we can see lust in our modern day, like we can see newspaper that's only rape cases. And like lust is the adamant desire for something that is prohibited. And if we chase after them, the consequences are very severe. Then anger. Anger can create distance between two people. It can also spoil relationships in the school as well as at workplace. And we can also see greed in the modern day where there are so many people stealing money and they're getting many big scams. So all the modern day ills are their root in these three viruses. So they, and also we know that they are the greatest enemies for the conditioned soul. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 3.41, Tasmatvam Indriyani Adau Niyamya Bharata Rishabha Papmanam Prajahiyenam Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So these type of adamant desires have to be curbed. For example, we can compare our mind to a computer. In the computer, there are so many unwanted software that need to be thrown out. Similarly, our mind also has so many viruses or the three viruses that we see lag, which need to be thrown out because these push us to indulge in wrong things. Now, these are the what a uncontrolled mind can do for you. Like they can create lack of confidence, they can create depression, stress, hypertension, etc. So all these are actually modern day diseases, and also all these indicate that the mind is very powerful. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Sanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati bhavadridam tasyaham nigriham manye vayoriva sudushkaram." The mind is very restless, turbulent, strong, and obstinate. O Krishna, it appears to me that it is more difficult to control than the wind. So here is a continuation of the previous slide that we see because of an uncontrolled mind, all these actions occur. So these are all caused due to the viruses present in our mind, like burning houses or suicide or rape, murder. All these are caused by uncontrolled mind. So we need to keep our mind in control. If our mind is our control, then it is our best friend. But if it is not under our control, then it will become our master. Mind is good as long as it is our servant. But if it starts dictating us, then it may empty our pockets. That is, it may tell you go to the movies or go for gambling, etc. So these are all caused by the impurities. It is the viruses in our mind causes all these problems. So if we want to follow the instructions, so if you want to curb the mind, we must follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. So we must control our mind. So instructions in Bhagavad Gita. So here we can see in the slide that the mind, intelligence, and soul and the five senses are depicted in this picture. So the five senses are the five horses here. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that first put blinders to these horses. That is, if we do not put blinders to these horses will move in all directions, will run in all directions. Similarly, we also need to control our senses so that we can focus at our end goal. Now, out of these three guys, that is intelligence, minds, and five senses, the senses are the easiest to control. They are the weakest among the three. The mind is the leader of the senses, and hence we must treat it separately. We must treat the mind separately. So we must. So how can we control our senses? We can control our senses by keeping it from harmful temptation, or by replacing it with superior association, that like reading Bhagavad Gita every day, Bhagavatam every day, or they also we also can give some harmless recreations. Then in this way, all unwanted things go away. Now let us come to the mind. We know that the mind is impure. That is why we must not take its likes and dislikes seriously. Because the mind does not always want to do the right thing every time. It may also want to do the wrong things. That is why if we follow the mind, it will only bind us, keeping us away from Krishna. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.27, Yat karosi yat asnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat guru swamadarpanam. Translation: O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering to me. So we need self-discipline in order to offer everything that we do for Krishna. So, and we also have to be detached from what is feeling good or bad for the mind and senses so that we stay purposefully connected to Krishna. And in that way, we become liberated and attain Krishna. So, discipline is the path to freedom. So, let me explain this with the help of an example. Suppose we consider a fish is trapped in the land, that is, a wave through the fish in the land, and it is flapping. So, it has the ability to move in the land as well, a little bit. So, at one point, he can feel that, oh, I have a lot of freedom. I can go here, I can go there, I can go anywhere. But unless it does not use its capacity to go towards the ocean, eventually its freedom may lead to its destruction. So similarly, we are compared to the fish out of water. If we the fish, like if it wants to be free to live and swim, it has to be it is meant to be in the ocean. And then the fish has to discipline itself and go towards the ocean. And when it's the ocean, then only it can execute its freedom. Similarly, we, the fish out of water, also have to self-discipline ourselves and focus on our end goal, that is to attain Goloka. Because this material world is like the land we are in. And we search for happiness all over this world, but we know that it cannot give us lasting happiness, and in fact it can give us lots of troubles that will go on for other lifetimes too. So we must connect with Krishna and attain constant happiness, and therefore we must have spiritual discipline, because it is the path to freedom. So in Bhagavad Gita, So in Bhagavad Gita 9.28, Krishna says, Subha Subha Phale Revam Moksha Se Karma Bandhanai Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimokto Mam Upaisyasi. In this way, you will be freed from all reactions to good and evil deeds, and by this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. So let us summarize what we have learned till now. Like, we have learned how to subdue our mind and senses. Like, for example, to subdue our mind, we must replace it with superior intelligence, because the mind always is connecting to anxieties, worries of the past, and fears of the future. Therefore, we must disconnect by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And the senses and also the poisonous viruses present in our mind can be removed by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And here, the senses can be compared to the snake, and Hare Krishna Maha Mantra can be compared to the snake charmer. So we must control our snake-like senses to the snake charmer, and eventually the snake-like senses, that is the senses, will be eventually liking the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We can also take the examples of a tortoise, where in a danger situation, the tortoise withdraws its head, legs, and hands inside, and when it is in a safe position, it takes out its heads and tail. Similarly, when we are in a bad association or when we are in a danger situation, we must withdraw our senses. That is, we must control our senses so that we do not fall into the bad association. And when we are in the temple or in a good association of devotees, we can, when we are in good association of the devotees, we can enjoy a sense, that is by eating Mahaprasadam, dancing in the kirtan, chanting Hare Krishna mantra, etc. Now, we must know 5 important elements of spiritual discipline. We all know the ABCD of Bhakti, that is Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Bhagavata Shravana, Mathura Vasa, Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. So, A is for association of devotees. That means we must always be in the association of devotees. And like whenever we have time, we can come to the temple and have darshan of the Lord and meet the devotees, so that our mind is purified. Similarly, books. We can read books, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita every day, so that we have purified thoughts. Similarly, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra individually as well as in Sankirtana. And in D, there are 2. D1, that is diet, that is offering food to Krishna, that is prasadam, and D2, that is deity worship, worshipping the deity forms of Lord Krishna. And E, that is entering the Vrindavan Dham. That is, we don't, it is not necessary to be in Vrindavan Dham. We can create our own houses in the Vrindavan Dham by keeping Krishna conscious as a center. Now, we may ask that in this way we can elevate ourselves to the place from where we came from. Now, we may think that why we may need self-discipline while dieting when we have so much tasty Mahaprasadam in the temple. But there's also a discipline in eating prasadam. That is, we must always start with Mahaprasadi Govinde, and also we must take care that we should not stuff ourselves with lots of food. That is prasadam, because especially at night. Because whenever we eat lots of prasadam at night, the body, mind, intelligence, and no, the body, the organs, the digestive system, etc., keep on digesting the food in the entire night while we are resting. And when we get up in the morning at 4 o'clock, that time only the digestion process must have completed. And hence, when we try to get up, the brain will tell us that we have just finished digestion now. So we also want to have some rest. So at the end, we will not be able to get up fresh at 4 o'clock in the morning. So now we come to exercise. Now we need to know, in the beginning of the session, we discussed about the importance of the end goal. So there are 5 qualities of an ideal goal, and they can be summarized as SMART. That is, S is for specific. We must target a specific area for improvement. That is, we must identify where I lack, and I must create some goals so that I improve on my mistakes. And M, that is measurable. We must quantify We must quantify or suggest an indicator of progress for measurable goals. For example, when we are chanting, we must analyze whether we are able to properly chant and hear at least 5 mantras properly. And then A is for achievable. We must specify how we will do it and who will do it. And then it should be realistic. That is, the results can be realistically achieved given the available resources. We should not keep some high-ended goals where we know that we don't have the results, but still we keep that high-ended goals. In the end, we'll not be able to attain anything. So an example of this is that I want to get up early in the morning, but for getting up early in the morning, you also need to sleep early at night. So it should be realistic. Then time related. We must specify the target date or that general time frame where the results can be achieved. For example, every day I will do my chanting, my prescribed rounds from 5 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. like that. So what you can do is that you can take an A4 size piece of paper or a pen and you can do this exercise. Like you can write 2 things that in which you want to bring self-discipline within yourself. For example, I want to get up at a fixed time for the next 7 days, or I want to finish reading chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita within a week time. And then after setting the goal, we must ask the questions that is it measurable, is it achievable, is it realistic, or is it time bound? And also we should know that we should also be able to answer this question like what will you do to achieve our goals, or what help will you take from others? And then after each step, we must evaluate our progress and see how we are improving. And at the end, we can achieve our goal and enjoy our success. Now, till now, whatever we have learned, you may think that it is difficult to follow, or it is easy to say but difficult to follow. So I have a video of Vivek Vindra who will help us to boost our belief in ourselves so that we can implement self-discipline in our lives.
असली सोर्स मोटिवेशन का होता है बिलीफ सिस्टम. आदिवासी महिलाएं थाईलैंड की, दे आर पियर्सिंग देयर बॉडी विद अ बैम्बू स्टिक. यूएन सेज इट इज टॉर्चर, बट दे आर सेइंग no, my Lord is getting pleased and I am getting purified. It is their belief system. Eastern India, the ladies are carrying Durga lamination, walking on the fire walk, burning coal. UN says torture, but she is saying no, I am getting purified because Durga Devi is getting pleased. It is their belief system. Belief system, sir. कोई दर्द नहीं हो रहा. You know, there are some terrorists in the name of pleasing the Lord. They are killing small kids. You and I can't do it. They are doing it comfortably because belief system. If I do that, my God will get pleased. Belief system. Belief system आदमी को कुछ भी कराने को तैयार कर देता है, कुछ भी करवाने को तैयार हो जाता है. मंडेला 34 साल जेल में बैठे रहे. Belief system, no salary given, sir. Belief system. Lincoln, Gandhi, Mandela, Teresa, anybody in the world, they've had powerful belief system. छोटे हाथी का बच्चा बड़ा शैतान होता है. उसको चेन से महावत बांध देता है, वो चेन तोड़ने की कोशिश करता है, बहुत तोड़ने की कोशिश करता है, उसके घाव हो जाता है, खून निकल आता है. चेन तोड़ पाता है? यस नो, नहीं तोड़ पाता. धीरे धीरे हाथी का बच्चा बड़ा होता है, विशाल हाथी बन जाता है. अब उसको जूट की रस्सी से बांध दिया, बांस की बल्ली के साथ खड़ा कर दिया. पेड़ नहीं साहब, पांव भी खींचेगा ना तो बल्ली बाहर आ जाएगी, लेकिन वो रस्सी को तोड़ पाता है? यस नो. इट इज देयर बिलीफ सिस्टम. आज डॉक्टर्स इसका इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, बोलते हैं भैया राम जी ये दवाई खा लो, 2 दिन में एकदम ठीक हो जाओगे. ये तुम्हारे लिए अमेरिका से मंगाई दवाई है, 2 दिन में ठीक हो जाओगे. राम सोचते हैं अच्छा ऐसा, दवाई खाते हैं, कहते हैं अब तो ठीक होने वाला हूं और 2 दिन में ठीक भी हो जाते हैं. वो दवाई थी? नहीं, वो दवाई नहीं थी, वो एक खोखली गोली थी. इसको बोलते हैं प्लेसिबो इफेक्ट. इट इज देयर बिलीफ सिस्टम. ये माइंड इतना पावरफुल है ना, इस माइंड की मदद से ये आदमी, it can break you, it can make you. You can become strongly mental or you can become mentally strong. You can have a hopeless end or you can have an endless hope. Your belief system is right. आप जानते हैं उस लड़की को अरुणिमा सिन्हा यूपी के गांव से आई थी. ट्रेन की पटरी के नीचे उसको चेन छीनने के लिए कुछ लोगों ने धक्का दे दिया, दोनों पांव ट्रेन के नीचे आ गए, कट गई. सारी रात वहीं पड़ी रही, कोई बचाने नहीं आया. 49 ट्रेन सारी रात में गुजर गई वहां से. एक ट्रेन इधर, एक ट्रेन इधर, एक ट्रेन इधर, एक ट्रेन इधर, बीच में पड़ी रही पटरियों में, जंगल के बीच में. कोई नहीं था. कीड़े चाट रहे थे उसके पांव को कटे हुए, चूहे खा रहे थे उसकी स्किन और हड्डियों को. कोई नहीं आया. सुबह हुई, दिल्ली अस्पताल में लेके आ गया उसको और वहां पे आने के बाद जब उसको पता चला मल्टीपल फ्रैक्चर उसकी पीठ में आ गए, पांव खत्म हो चुका है, सारी जिंदगी के लिए अपाहिज हो गई है, प्रोस्ट्रेटेड लेग्स के साथ उसको चलना पड़ेगा, वहां बैठ के क्या बोली, अगर भगवान तूने मुझे बचाया तो जरूर इतिहास रचने के लिए अब तो मैं एवरेस्ट क्लाइंब करूंगी, अब मैं एवरेस्ट क्लाइंबर बनूंगी। बछेंद्रिय पाल के पास गई, बछेंद्रिय पाल ने क्या कहा, तूने ऐसी अवस्था में एवरेस्ट क्लाइंब करने के लिए सोच लिया, तू तो एवरेस्ट क्लाइंब कर चुकी है, अब तो दुनिया को तारीख पता लगना बाकी रह गया है। और जानते हैं, एक एक करके न केवल उसने माउंट एवरेस्ट बल्कि 7 पीक दुनिया की पार कर ली। आज एनडीए गवर्नमेंट में उसको पद्मश्री अवार्ड मिला है। साहब, आदमी विकलांग शरीर से नहीं होता है, मन से होता है। अगर मन से विकलांग हो गया तो हमेशा के लिए विकलांग हो गया।
So I hope that you got the belief in yourselves that you can implement self-discipline in our life and do the exercise what I just said you now. If the answer is yes, please chant Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So self-discipline is the magic power that makes you virtually unstoppable, which was just explained in that video. So before I finish my class, let me give you a quote of Srila Prabhupada of what he said about self-discipline. Without being self-controlled, without being disciplined, without being fully obedient, no one can become successful in following the instructions of the spiritual master. And without doing so, no one is able to go back to God. Hare Krishna. Please forgive me if I made any mistakes, and thank you for attending my session. I hope that I not offend anyone. Hare Krishna.
Anybody have any questions? Any comments?
So as I said that what I meant by superior association, like we can subdue your mind by replacing it with superior association. For example, that you like to see some, for example, videos in YouTube, and in that you can actually see motivational videos of many great preachers of ISKCON, or like, because they not only give you only spiritual, they also tell you how to be successful material. So in that way you can make your you can subdue your senses through spiritual what do you say superior association. Like, huh?
Should we use force? Should we use force?
No, we should not use force, otherwise it will not because our senses should not be forced to do something, because if we start liking it only, it will go in a long term, because forcing may work for some time, but after some time you may see that he's deviating more. In fact, we must put more energy in forcing rather than doing naturally. So I prefer that you should do it naturally. It should be a step-by-step process, not at a one shot.
You see, Prabhupada mentions in a lot of places to fake it to make it, because a lot of things that we do in ISKCON, it's like when now young people are being asked to chant, they may not necessarily know why they're being asked to chant or agree with them, right? So how can you actually say that that's not being forced when you're doing fake it till you make it, right? Because it's not necessarily enjoy it. But with time, we gradually understand why we're doing what we're doing.
That's what I said, a step-by-step process. Like we can not, like they may say you don't need to do 16 rounds like suddenly. You can do one time you can chant Hare Krishna, then 2 times, 3 times in that way, because we are not forcing our senses in that way. Like if we say that I will do 8 rounds in one day, like suddenly I will say, then it is not going to be accepted my senses immediately. So we can say that you can do gradually. Like you can do 1 round per day, or you can do at least chant 30 times in one day, like that.
How do we blindfold our senses? Because that will be coming from force, right? So how do we blindfold our senses? Because of course, to blindfold something, you need to apply some force, right?
No, like blindfold, what I meant is that we must like focus our senses at the real goal, because when we are like we are not actually blindfolding our senses. We are giving the senses, like we are giving them another engagement. Like in that way, we are blindfolding from material engagement. So in that way,
You showed that chariot example where you talked about mind, senses, and intelligence. And you said senses are the easiest to control. And
compared to the mind and intelligence, I not say so.
so, what is the role of intelligence there in the entire thing?
The intelligence is like we have a speculative mind. Like intelligence will always think, why should I do this? For example, what Rakshit said, like they are not interested in chanting Hare Krishna mantra. They first ask the question, why should I do it? So that is the intelligence that is asking. So we must reply to that question in a very what do you say, understanding way, so that they can understand in their terms. That is what the role of intelligence is about.
The role of intelligence controlling the senses.
So I will not speak of that.
No, because you said that there are three things, right? You said that there's controlling the senses, you talked about mind, and then you talked about intelligence also. So, what is, like, for example, we say that mind controls, your mind is controlled, sense can be controlled. So, what is the role of intelligence in the entire equation? That's it.
No, what I said was controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence separately. I did not give any, I did not connect them all of them. Like mind is the leader of the senses, and I did not speak about in today's session about intelligence. So I won't be able to answer this.
So, actually, just to add to what you were saying on that point, basically, if you want to actually strengthen your mind, so there are two ways. One is that your mind is overtaking your intelligence, then the senses actually comes under the control. Or the intelligence actually is sharpened. Prabhupada says sharpening, the shastras are the sword to which you cut. At the same time, when you have to sharpen the sword is through your intelligence. So when you want to cut, to control the senses, you need to actually strengthen your intelligence. Unless you strengthen your intelligence, just controlling the mind is not possible. When you control your strength and intelligence helps you blind. So that's why the chariot driver is there. Chariot driver controls the reins, which are the mind, and the reins control the senses, which are the horses. So mind, intelligence plays a very important role. Why are we sitting all of us here? Because we sit here to be discussed so that our intelligence becomes sharpened. Through that intelligence, we understand. Now you said that now chanting somebody asked, you said, you have to explain to him. Unless he understands intellectually, he will not take up the Virgat to chant. Right? So intelligence in that example plays a very important role. Unless you actually sharpen your intelligence, you cannot control the reins, the mind. When the mind cannot be controlled, then you cannot control the senses. That's how the role of intelligence is. I just wanted to add to that point.
Thank you, brother.
Very good. There's a question here in the chat by Paki. Asking, does self-discipline necessarily include avoiding all distractions, or can it also be called the balancing of distractions and action?
I say balancing between distractions as well as our goal, because we cannot completely avoid distraction. As I said, our world is full of distractions. Anywhere we go, there is some distraction. Even if we are in a secluded place, there is something. For example, in a forest, if we think that I'll chant nicely in a forest, there are so many birds chirping, or some maybe some tigers also are coming. So like there's so many disturbances in every part of this world. So we cannot completely stop distraction. What we have to do is that we must harmonize between our goals and distractions. Like if your distractions is very overpowering, then what we should do is that we must allot some time for that distraction. This distraction, so that we must convince our mind that, see, now I have allotted this much time because you said that this distraction is coming. Now let me focus on this goal because I've already allotted some time for that distraction. So in this way, the mind can be convinced, and then we'll be able to gradually go towards our end goal.
Something which is very nice. Just wanted to ask, because of distraction, for example, a boy who wants to study for exam, at the same time he's attracted actually to watch IPL because he's attracted to cricket. His discipline has to be what? To study for the exam. But then his mind is continuously taking him towards. So if he tries to balance, for example, he goes and watches, he says, okay, 1 hour I will watch, or just the score I will watch. What happens? The mind will actually pull you away.
So that we must clearly say to the mind that I will only give this much time, because we cannot completely avoid also, but we cannot also completely give in. So we must clearly say to the mind that I will give this much time only, because I have other things also which are my priority. Because after finishing that priority, again I can come to this. But if I keep on doing this, then those things will get degraded or go down. Then what is the result? I will get a negative result. So what we must like give something to that also and to this also. We cannot completely go extreme.
Wouldn't it be better to complete the priorities first and then go on to the distractions? Because if you showed 341 it was, where Krishna has also told about nipping it at the bud, not engaging in the, the minute the desire comes itself to control it, right?
Like, yeah, we can do that. If
Just to add before that, I'll tell you a real life example. You know what happened in my own life? Because I'm still a cricket golfer, so I watch a lot of cricket. So I had an economics final paper, and Brian Lara was playing with Australia. And the entire night I watched the match. I was taking 1 over, 1 over, 2 overs, 3 overs. And the entire night I watched the match, and I lost my rank just because economics paper I got less marks. Not that I was not prepared, but I should have actually slept and gone fresh for the exam. I actually watched the entire night that match. So what she said, to actually keep that distractions away is something very important. Is that is something, because if you try to balance, mind is very tricky. Mind is actually very tricky. If you give actually, that is said, it's like that camel. If you give that one leg to keep inside your tent, it will take away your tent. So you have to be very, very disciplined when your goal is there.
But in the same way, like if we try to keep like completely avoid distractions while going towards this thing, we also know our mind is very powerful. It is compared to an elephant. So somehow or other will keep on continuously coming, distractions will keep on coming, and it will hinder your progress. What net result you would have got without distraction, and with little bit distraction comes from here and there, you will see that there is like the result is not that much. So if you give little time, at least you can convincing some time you should give to that distraction, then your mind will be quiet for some time. I'm saying it will be forever quiet. It will be quiet for some time. So in that way, you will be able to give more. I'm not saying that you will completely be successful, but you will definitely go better than lot of like doing with lot of distraction.
I just want to ask. So, if in the beginning itself, when we're trying to control the senses, we start engaging in our distractions, do you think we'll ever build up to a point where we completely withdraw ourselves from the distractions? Is that possible if in the beginning itself we're entertaining any distractions that come our way?
So I'm not understanding.
So, you mentioned of how it's okay to have a few distractions here and there. So how there's a saying of always aim for 100 marks, because then you get at least 90 or 80, right? So if we begin with aiming for saying, okay, I can entertain a little distractions, won't our net result be way lesser than when we aim for no distractions whatsoever and somehow, distractions come away?
Like in that case, okay, you can do like that, but what I'm saying that we cannot apply. We may not. You think that mind is very like very easy to say like that. Like I have to now focus on this so that I can get better results. But mind is not going to listen to you. That is for sure. Unless and until you have like chant Hare Krishna mantra every day or read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and like you are a very pure devotee something, then only mind will listen to you. Otherwise, mind will somehow trick you.
That is why the example on that chariot is very important. If you actually strengthen your intelligence, even the mind is strong, it can control it. So that is why Prabhupada says that you need to actually sharpen your intelligence. When your intelligence is sharpened, then that goal which is there, the goal, for example, the goal is to go into IIT JEE, in the rank of, for example, top 2000, whatever. If the goal is there, then these distractions will actually go away. So that is why intelligence, once the intelligence is sharpened, and can lady used, her goal was very clear. Whatever problems, whatever difficulties she had, she would have easily overcome, because the intelligence was very clear in terms of where she wanted to achieve, and that way the mind can be easily controlled. Because the mind will otherwise take you away easily. That is why this balancing thing now is a little riskier option. That's why Krishna also tells right at the beginning. So yes, So, as a young child, you want to, you want to actually just do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, but then you can actually get into trouble. So that is
That's
the
one.
problem.
Like you can use our intelligence to keep a limit first.
When you asked that should we start with the goal of no distractions at all, he said that we should have a realistic goal. So no distractions at all is something that is very achievable. It's not very realistic, so I don't think it would work out if you just started off with no distractions. Have some relaxation, and
That's a good point, actually. You said about having no distractions at all, but it is not possible. Distractions will be there, but how do you keep it away is on us. That is possible. Having no distractions is not possible. That is going to be there. When you go to a school, you are going to find a boy who is attractive. But then, how do you keep that away? That attraction is something which is around. So that is something which is important. Yeah. Hare Krishna. We'll go to the next program now. Chinmay, come forward. With your- Thank you, Prahlad. Thank you for wonderful presentation. Hare Krishna.
Video will be on.
Let this be on. We'll change the. Big Hari Bol. We'll stand on the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to Appa Prahlad. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna.
Do we need the lights? Can we switch off the light?
Switch off the light. Just put the dim lights up. Put the dim lights on.
Okay.
Gor Ramanande. Om Ranga.
Hare Krishna. Today being the most auspicious day of Ekadashi, we will chant now or we recite Brahma Samhita. It's a 9th hour distinctive Brahma Samhita. Another recite.
ईश्वरा परमात्मा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादि गोविंदः सर्वकारण कारणं चिंतामणि प्रकर सद्म सुकल्प वृक्ष लक्षावृतेषु सुरवीर विपालयन्त्रं लक्ष्मी सहस्रशत संभ्रम सेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादि पुरुषं तमहं भजामि वेणुक्वनन्तमरविन्ददलायताक्षं बर्हावतं समसितं मुदसुन्दराङ्गं गन्धर्वकोटिकमणीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आलोलचन्द्रकलसर्वनमार्यवंशी रत्नाङ्गदं प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासं श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितं नियतप्रकाशं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अंगानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति मानि कलयन्ति शिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मय सदुज्ज्वल विग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभमात्मभक्तौ गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि पन्तास्तु कोटिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायोरथापि मनसो मुनिपुङ्गवाना सोऽप्यस्ति यत्र पदचिह्न विचिन्त्य तत्त्वे गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि एकोऽप्यसरचयितुं जगदण्डकोटिं यच्चक्तिरस्ति जगदण्डचयाय दन्तः अण्डातरस्थपरमाणुचयान्तरस्थं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यथा बभाविदधियो मनुजस्तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमाशनयानभूषः शुक्तैर्यमेवं निगमप्रतिदैः स्तुवन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आनन्दचिन्मयरसप्रतिभाविताभिस्ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि प्रेमाजनच्चरितभक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्य गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि रामादिपूर्तिषु कलानि यमेन तिष्ठन् नानावतारमकरोतु वनेषु किन्तु कृष्णः स्वयं समभवत्परममुमोन् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्य प्रभाप्रभवतो जगदण्डकोटि कोटिष्वशेषवसुधाभिविभूतिभिन्नं तद्ब्रह्मनिष्कलमनन्तमशेषभूतं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि माया हि यस्य जगदण्डशतानि सूते त्रैगुण्यतद्विषयवेदविषाभिमानं सद्भावलम्बिपरसत्त्वविशुद्धसत्त्वं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आनन्दचिन्मयरसात्मतया मनस्सु यप्राणिनां प्रतिफलं स्मरतामुपेत्य लीलायितेन भुवनानि जयत्यजस्रं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोलोकनानि निजधानि तले च तस्य देवी महेश हरिधाम सुतेषु तेषु वेदे प्रभावनिचया वीतश्च येन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेका चायैव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य च चेष्टते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि क्षीरं यदा तद्विकारविशेषयोगात् सञ्जायते न हि तदा पृथगस्ति हेतोः यः सम्भुतमपि तथा समुपैति कार्यम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि दीपाशदेव हितशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायदेव विविधहेतुसमानधर्मम् यस्मद्गृहेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यकारणार्णवजले भजति स्म योगम् निद्राम् अनन्तजगदण्डसरोमकूपः आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परं स्वमूर्तिम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्यैकनिश्वसितकालमतावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविरजा जगदण्डनाथः विष्णुर्महान्तयस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि वासान्यदात्म सकलेषु निजेषु तेजः श्रियं कियत् प्रकटयत्यपि तद्वदेऽत्र ब्रह्माय एष जगदण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भ द्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमये च गणाधिराजः विघ्नाभिहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अग्नेर्महीगगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च बालस्तथात्मनसीति जगत्त्रयाणि यस्मात् भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यच्चक्षुरेश सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेष तेजः यस्याज्ञया भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि धर्मोदपापनिजयश्रुतयश्च ब्रह्मादिकीटपदगावदयश्च जीवः यत्तत्तमत्र विभवः प्रकटप्रभाव गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्मिन्द्रगोपमतमेन्द्रमहोस्वकर्म वन्दानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यं क्रोधकामसहज प्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोहगुरुगौरवसेव्यभावैः सञ्चिन्त्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रिया कान्ता कान्ता परमपुरुषा कल्पतरवो ध्रुवा भूमिश्चिन्तामणि गणमयी तोयममृतम् कथागानं नाट्यं गमनमपि वंशीप्रिय सखी चिदानन्दं ज्योतिर्परमपि ततस्वाद्यमपि च स यत्र क्षीराब्धिश्रवति सुरभिभिश्च सुमहान् निमेषार्धाख्यो व्रजति न हि यत्रापि समयः भजे श्वेतद्वीपं तमहं इह गोलोकमिति यं विदन्तस्ते सन्तक्षितिविरलचरकणिकये गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Today's evening, Bhoga is offered to the Lord by His Grace Pastor Kanchana Prabhuji and family, His Grace Sudarshan Janardhan Prabhu and family, in Mother's remembrance. Mother's name is Aikarno. His Grace Vraja Vinod Krishna Prabhu, his late father Ganeshan Prabhu, His Grace Kesha Gopakumar Prabhu, on the occasion of Father Lal Bahadur and Mother Chandrakala remembrance day. Hare Krishna. So we will pray at the lotus feet of Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan for the well-being of all the sponsors today and also all the assembled devotees here. Hare Krishna. Tomorrow's Dwadashi breaking time is from 5:30 to 9:27. Who are taking the Ekadashi fast should break tomorrow at this time. 6th of October. Yeah, so Pitru Paksha is going on Shraddha time till 6th of October. So any devotees who would like to actually offer their forefathers, for their parents who are the body, or for their grandfathers, grandparents, then this is a great time to actually offer them. So we request to the management to actually come forward and sponsor Bhoga in the name of the forefathers. Hare Krishna. So now I request Ajoy to sing the Nasingarthi. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narayana.
नरहरि भगवान की भगवान की ओम निताय भगवान की लीला प्रभुपाद की इंदिरा तुलसी महोत्सव की समस्त भक्तवृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
Anybody?